Hi, my name is Elena Mangum. I'm the Literacy Specialist for the Center for Development and Learning and your host today for Are We Opting Students Out of Learning How to Read? Let me tell you a bit about myself. I started teaching in New York City and spent many professional development days at Teachers College, Columbia University, and was trained through balanced literacy. After moving back to the South, I continued teaching before moving up to the district level. After years of knowing we needed to do more for students in regards to teaching reading, and then teachers reaching out for more on phonemic awareness and phonics, we decided to train our teachers in the science of reading. We even had national recognition for our top growth. I have literally lived both sides of the reading wars. And now I'm a part of this mission to fight for all students getting a chance to learn how to read based on the science of reading. Every Monday, we will post a video that will provide information on the science of reading with a little supply and apply, I like to say. I will supply you some information and then give you ideas or links on how to apply it to your students. The Center for Development and Learning has over 25 years as a premier thought leader in Louisiana. We also hold the National Literacy Conference called Plain Talk. Our mission is to improve the life chances of children, especially those at high risk. Our purpose is to achieve equity in education and close those opportunity gaps. And we believe that children, regardless of how they look, where they come from, how they learn, can and will achieve school success. Dr. Louisa Moats said it best: teachers, not programs, teach students. And if we empower educators in how the brain learns to read, we can ensure all students can become a skilled reader. So here's the deal. We need to understand a little bit about the science of reading and structured literacy. So with permission from the amazing Nancy Young, this infographic will really help explain why in some schools, curriculums, we are opting students out of learning how to read. Let's start at the brackets on the right side. The green bands state that these students are advantaged by structured literacy. The light and dark red state that structured literacy is essential. Structured literacy has a few different components: code-based, explicit, systematic, and sequential. I circled code-based. That's really what we're going to kind of be focusing in on of how we're not teaching kids to learn how to read the right way. And to understand how to support your learner at home with code-based, we need to see what not to do or continue using. Educators, have you seen these? Maybe in your curriculum, or you found them on a teacher website, probably even learned about them in college. This was all I knew when I first started teaching in New York City. And I can't help but think about those students that I could not seem to reach, or their reading levels wouldn't change. And I truly wonder now, how have it been for them continuing through high school? Since then, moving back to the South, attending Plain Talk Literacy Conference, being trained in the science of reading, I know how extremely detrimental these strategies are. A man named Stanovich wanted to know how readers learn to read. So in 1975, he and a fellow graduate, they tested their hypothesis that stated that skilled readers rely more on context clues to recognize words than poor readers. And poor readers, we know, probably weren't really good at using context. Here's the deal. They were wrong. Let's be honest. These posters are stinking cute. I am a former lower elementary teacher, and we love some cute things and clip art, but I wish I knew what I know now. These are called multi-cueing or three-cueing system strategies, and they must go. You will see get your mouth ready, or lips to fish, skip the word, skippy kangaroo, eagle eyes. Kind of shocking, to be quite honest, when you really think about them. So if I say get your lips ready or get your mouth ready, what am I getting my mouth ready for? Skip the word? So really, I'm teaching a kid to learn how to read, but then I just tell them not to read and skip a word? And looking at the pictures, so what happens when they cannot figure out the word based on a picture? They don't have the background knowledge. And we also know as students move through grade levels, you will see less and less of pictures. Another strategy you will see often is they promote the student to say blank, read to the end, and guess what they think seems right. I cannot stress enough to stop using these strategies ASAP. In fact, I just listened to one of my favorite podcasts, Science of Reading, the podcast with Amplify. They had a high school English teacher, Jasmine Lane, talking about her students and the effect of these strategies when they get to high school. She herself made a claim to everyone listening, anyone in lower elementary using these strategies to stop. And she really is a promoter for the science of reading. So let's do a little test. Educators, parents, let me show you how a strategy that has been debunked by science, we can debunk it right here. This is a 3 cueing strategy example. This passage is showing 80% correct. The 20% I have marked out with the purple marks, the bold marks. Let's give the multi-cueing system a try and see if it works for us. Let's look at the first sentence. I left the first letter available to be seen, and let's use the strategy of lips or get your mouth ready for the first sound. Understanding the r between and their is the study of and we also know that vowels could have several different sounds. So is it Is it e? Is it o, ah, oo? Using this strategy is not going to work. Here's another 3 cueing strategy. Skip the word and go to the end. And we know there are no pictures, and so that strategy cannot be used. So let's see if this one works. Let's skip the word and go to the end. Understanding the blank between blank and their blank is the study of blank blank. Compete for blank, they need to blank. These include air, water, food, and space. When these are blank blank can live blank and blank in the same community, blank or habitat. So I have skipped words, I've gone to the end, and I'm supposed to be using context clues to help figure it out. Again, I can't read these words. I have not learned how to decode them. Do you have any idea what this passage is telling you? I do, because I found it online, of course. But think about the kiddo who is struggling even more than this. Again, this is 80% correct. What about the student who only has 50% correct or 30% correct? So what can we do to support beginning readers or readers that are maybe older but are really struggling? So thanks to Dr. Pam Kastner for this evidence-based strategy for beginning readers. Through this process, we are not promoting what poor readers do, guessing. We are promoting what the reading brain needs to do. If a child comes to a word that they're still struggling with, I'm going to show you after this slide something that you can do. Let's look at what Dr. Pam Kastner has. So we want to point at the word and look at all letters. We want to stretch and say all the sounds match to the letters and then blend them together. Say the word. Reread the sentence and think, does this make sense? So now, if your reader is struggling still, let's take a look at a decodable passage to see what we can do. We're always going to promote students to track our words from left to right. Let's say the student gets stuck on the word hard when they stop. This is telling me they're stuck. I want them to attempt to sound out the word. Then you're going to kind of come to 3 different options that you could do. If the student can only sound out that initial beginning sound, then have them do that and tell them the word. If they are at a time in the year when teaching vowel R or R-controlled vowels is appropriate, then give them a mini lesson on how when they see a vowel followed by the letter R, the R robs that vowel of its sound, and you're not going to hear the vowel. You could also have them practice and then apply that skill in a decodable passage. Teaching letters and sounds, those phonemes and graphemes, is what will make those neurological connections in the brain. Again, let's review. When our students are struggling, we want them to point to the word and look at all the letters. We want them to stretch and say all the sounds match to those letters and then blend them together. Say the word, they're going to reread that sentence and think, does it make sense? We have to remember to never promote guessing, to never promote get your mouth ready, to skip a word. We will not make those neurological connections in the brain if we're doing that. It will cause several problems as a student moves through grades into their college and to their life. I want to send out a big thank you for tuning in. I will be back every Monday with a Science of Reading tidbit or a mini lesson, professional development to keep our minds moving forward and to support parents and teachers while we are at home with students and our kiddos. The Center for Development and Learning can be liked and followed on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in.